Did you ever see The Wolf Man?
We're back with another Terence Fisher classic, Curse of the Werewolf. We're in Spain for this one, where everyone speaks with an English accent. A gentleman finds a woman floating in a lake and takes her in. Since she's mute, she's incapable of telling how she got there. Her former master had thrown her in his dungeon with a beggar who took advantage of her, and now she's pregnant. The gentleman and his wife bring up the child after their mother dies postnatal. Years pass, and a spate of animal deaths sets the townfolk on edge. The child's late-night wanderings. His appetite for blood prompts an evaluation of his birth, and precautions for his safety become priority. Could a holy day birth an unholy child?
Leo, ego te baptizo in nomine Patris.
A cast of familiar faces. At the top of the list, the force of nature, Oliver Reed. Richard Wordsworth, the face of the original Quatermass movie. While working on Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much, James Stewart called him the perfect gentleman. Warren Mitchell, before he became a household name as the controversial Alf Garnett. Peter Sallis. British audiences will remember him from the sitcom Last of the Summer Wine, but to the world,
Well, that went as well as could be expected, didn't it?
Yvonne Romaine. She was the center of the classic 1970s whodunit, The Last of Sheila. For James Bond fans, Anthony Dawson.
3 men were found dead on the train at Trieste. One of them was Grant.
Number 11.
And Desmond Llewellyn as the Marquis's footman. Later as the iconic Q. Adapted from Guy Endor's novel The Werewolf in Paris by the producer Anthony Hines using his pseudonym John Elder. An obvious change in location and some tightened pieces. It's a very different lycanthropic tale. Is it really a blasphemy to Jesus for a child to be born on December 25th and thus walk the earth as an abomination under God?
There are elemental spirits about us at all times, my son. Spirits without bodies of creatures that have never lived. And some say it is to prevent the invasion of these roaming spirits into the highest creation of God's sculpturing hands, the body of man, before whom all beasts must kneel.
Usually someone becomes cursed via an attack. Bites, scratches, some kind of wound that isn't life-threatening. Special makeup back then could only employ the same techniques going back to Lon Chaney Jr. Roy Ashton didn't have the time nor the budget to do more. But the overall look, again, iconic. Influence. Joe Dante and John Landis have cited this for their movies, with transformation and behavior taken to heights never seen. Dante's movie paid homage to Terence Fisher as well as Freddie Francis. Looking at old and recent responses, in the UK, the original release was badly received due to multiple censorship cuts. With critics in America, it fared better. In the 90s, the BBC screened a version with reinstated cuts. The full version was restored in 2005 in America, and then in the UK in 2010. Today, some people complain about the first 30 to 60 minutes. Paul Farrell's 2020 article on bloodydisgusting.com gave a very fair and fresh analysis. This was Oliver Reed's first starring role. By the end of the decade, and with the release of Women in Love, he was the best actor in Europe. Older generations will remember that as fast as his fame rose, the 1970s saw the rise of his infamy. By this time, his best performance was in Ken Russell's The Devils, and is remembered as important a work as it is highly controversial.
Every time there's a so-called nationalist revival, it means one thing. Somebody is trying to seize control of the entire country. The significance of our walls is that we are self-governing. Yes. Richelieu hates this. He deceives the king.
And by the 1980s, he wasn't in the types of roles that showed his prowess. At the end of the 90s, he got the chance to reignite his career in Ridley Scott's Gladiator. His sudden death of a heart attack in Malta forced the production to change the narrative, and a body double with some digital work was needed for unfilmed scenes. While the movie is dedicated to him, he gave a great performance.
I wasn't the best because I killed quickly. I was the best because the crowd loved me. Win the crowd, and you'll win your freedom.
To think I've covered the basis for Hammer, I would be remiss if I didn't include this in my lineup. The 1950s covered science fiction, vampires, and the reanimated. Except for The Invisible Man, the 1960s completed the best of old Universal horror. Mythology and curses taken in a different direction. And with the Hammer trademark, a harsher tone. Changing the werewolf ethos with a religious twist was a bold move. And this came from a New York Times bestseller. And the movie's reputation has continued to grow. It's a must-see for Werewolf and Oliver Reed fans.